Welcome to the Mom Boss Podcast, the show where motherhood meets business and everything in between. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mom Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Bailey Gordon, and this is a really special episode. I am pretty sure I say that about every single one of these, but it really is because this month, March, is our 1-year anniversary of the Mom Boss Meetup, specifically March 13th. I wanted to just talk today about community and the importance that it has and the effect that it has on moms, entrepreneurs, and the human existence as a whole. So I've said this story several times. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to other podcast episodes. But one of the key things to my survival personally has been finding community. As a mom who had twins in 2019, 20 months later gave birth to a third baby during a pandemic in Texas after going through fetal surgery while being a business owner after leaving my job and going full-time as an entrepreneur. Okay? Just let that sink in for half a second. So what happened was I had moved away from all my friends. I was a Division I athlete where I had teammates and all these things. I left a job where I had coworkers and friends, and I moved to be closer to my family. And while that was amazing and while that has been extremely helpful in raising my kids and a choice that I would always make, it didn't come without its challenges. And one of those was finding my community, finding the people outside of my family who I could go to when things got hard, or a business community like coworkers where I could connect and ask questions and I didn't have to just seek the help of Google or now ChatGPT. I didn't want to have to just be solely online, facing a screen, with our only interactions being over text message, phone call, FaceTime, Instagram DM, Facebook post on the wall. Do people do that anymore? I don't even actually know. Snapchat, TikTok, like sending little TikToks back and forth. Like, I need deeper and more meaningful connection than that. And here in that struggle, the Mom Boss Meetup idea was born. For those new to the Mom Boss podcast, I have an in-person community group where moms who own their own businesses or aspire to own their own businesses, even women who are not moms, are welcome. They just have to understand that this is a mom group and we will talk about our kids. I knew that it needed to be specifically for moms who had businesses because that is who I am. I am a mom who owns a business. I am a mom who was thrust into entrepreneurship after years of being startups and smaller companies and large companies and the government and all these places. But I knew that I needed genuine connection. After working with my therapist and deciding that community and connection were some key pillars in my life that I needed to focus on, I decided to join an all-women's gym and all these things. That led to me creating this group so that I could have more in-person and meaningful connections with other like-minded women. I wanted to talk to you today about the importance of finding that for yourself, whatever that looks like. Maybe you want to find a place where people are baking, so you join a cooking class, or maybe you sign up for a ballroom dancing course, or maybe you head to an actual hip hop dance, or you do the crazy thing and go to a retreat with a bunch of moms you don't know. I'm having a retreat in May if you want to come, but you don't have to. I'm just throwing it out there. But whatever it is, going to a coffee shop by yourself, creating conversations out in the wild that allow you to meet somebody face to face. It is so vital. Humans were not meant to exist alone. We were not meant to raise our young in the confines of our home. We were not meant to do all of our interacting over screens and behind keyboards and not understand the tone that someone is giving, not understanding the meaning behind what they say or their reaction. It's not the instant gratification, like all of that. We weren't meant to live that way. And that is why this community has been so important. And I would say whenever I ask moms, I ask this all the time because I just want to make sure that I am on the right path. But I ask moms all the time, what do you like about the group? What is it that made you join the Mom Boss community? What is it that you're looking for from a group like this? Hands down, every single one. I'm looking for women who get it and can understand where I'm coming from. I am looking for community. I am looking for a village, and I am looking for connection. Those are the things that people are. Nobody is saying to me, I would like to know more about SEO. I just talked to a friend about this. She's like, I don't hear anybody telling you that they want more education. It all comes back to connection. This group, we will have a ton of education, a ton of insight and knowledge given to you by experts in their field, women that you want to aspire to be like, women who have been in your position. They know what it's like to raise young kids while building a small business that they want to make real money from. Like, you are not just building this business to keep yourself busy. You are probably building this business for the most part. It might be a little bit of that to keep yourself busy and to keep yourself sane, but you're probably also trying to contribute financially to your family. If your job is taking you away from your family, why wouldn't you want to make money from it? If it is taking you away from the things that you are trying to do in your home, outside of your home, you have to be compensated. We are not all living in these Mesopotamia times. Did anyone do that in school where you just like trade it out? Like, I would bring over some feathers and you would give me some flour. Like, did anyone do that? Anyway, we're not living in those times. We need to be able to self-sustain and take care of our families. That is number one. And that is the goal of mom bosses. Mom is first because that is who we are first. If our kids are sick or have an appointment, a soccer game, or the championship gymnastics meet, we're probably going to be prioritizing that over the meeting, work function, or networking event. We are probably putting our kids and our family first, which means that we are putting ourselves on the back burner. Moms like to put themselves on the back burner and they do not take care of themselves first. After 5 years of being a mom, it'll be 6 in August, I have finally, it has taken me 5.5 years. Let's just say 5 because I started in September of last year. It has taken me 5 years to truly understand not only putting on the oxygen mask, but you're breathing when you do. That is the big difference. We hear it all the time. Put your oxygen mask on first. But you have to do the next step. You have to sit and breathe and be in the silence and be with your thoughts and be uncomfortable in that feeling of relaxation and rest. I am the first to tell you that I am the worst at relaxation and rest. I am the last person who takes care of herself. If you could see me right now, you would know that I showered. My hair is down. It's been washed. I have on mascara. I moisturized my face. I put on a little lip gloss. I put on a little blush on my cheeks. Like, what? I got ready because I was like kind of feeling a little bit down the last few days. I've been a little bit more on edge with my kids. I've been a little bit more stressed with some things going on with my own businesses. I've been trying to make some really big decisions for myself. All of that comes down to, okay, I got to take care of myself. So I went showered. I made myself some breakfast. I made some breakfast cookies with my son. We're going to have some friends over for dinner. I'm just going to take care of me. I'm going to get the things done that need to get done, but I am going to make sure that I take care of me. That'll help me be a better mom, a wife, a friend, a human, and a better person to Bailey. And I'm encouraging you to do that too. If you find that you are either in a rut or you are looking to work through some deep integrated feelings that you aren't sure how to get past, my therapist and I wrote some things down. Here are some things that make you feel good and get you back to your baseline. She had me write down okay, what are the things that helped pull you out of some deep shit when you weren't feeling your best? And I was like, showering, washing my hair, eating good food, having good snacks prepared, getting outside, moving my body. I was telling somebody else the other day that I have to write down my basic needs: drink water, brush my teeth, floss my teeth, wash my face, moisturize, take my supplements. All these things that are so simple and might be so easy for people who don't have kids, for maybe people who don't have ADHD. I have pretty severe, I'm unmedicated, so it's like extra aggressive. But anyway, that wasn't the point of this. But some people might have to write those things down. So if that's you, if you're like, I'm struggling, I need to find ways that can pull me out, what is that for you? I am working on 5 things to try and regulate my nervous system. These are some things that I'm being very, very mindful of. I am not great at them yet. I am working very hard. Every single day, it is a choice for me to show up for myself and do these things. I am working on it. This is me saying, do as I say and not as I actually do. But these are the things that I'm working on. And the reason I share this with you guys, and the reason I tell you that I am not an expert, I have not fully integrated these as well as I would like. The reason I share that with you guys is because this podcast is about growing together. I am not sitting here in my ivory tower talking down to you, telling you, you need to do this, 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 and this, and you'll make 7 figures and your kids will not scream at you every 30 seconds. That's like, no, that's not this podcast. So I am sharing these because I am growing too. I am doing the work too. And I think that makes it feel more attainable. After 5 years of being in the parenting fog, sometimes I am more ragey than I'd like to be. That'll be a whole other podcast episode. But sometimes, I get too overstimulated or I get too overwhelmed. And you know what? A lot of that is because of me. That is because of my dysregulation in my nervous system. That is because I'm trying to do too many things at once. Like I might be texting or trying to post something on social media or responding to an email or whatever. And my kids are like, Mom, can you come plant this apple seed? Mom, can you come plant this apple seed with me? My kids were eating apples and they found the apple seeds and they wanted to plant them in the yard. And you know what I was doing? I was posting on my social media because I hadn't posted on my Photos by Bailey account in a long time. And this is like a part of my regret, quote unquote. I needed to get this done. And by the time I got it done, they had already moved on from what they were doing. And so one of my big things I'm really working on is being present, but also finding other ways to find the dopamine hit that social media gives or Netflix gives or any kind of instant gratification, a text message, all those things. I'm trying to find other ways to get that dopamine hit other than doom scrolling. One thing I'm doing is I'm creating a junk journal. I didn't know that this is what they were called, but I've been seeing it all over my social media, the place where I'm trying to get away from. I noticed that I have done this. I did this decades ago. And I was like, gosh, why did I stop doing that? Oh, because I have a phone now. And that gives me that feeling, that rush, that dopamine hit, all that stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this stuff and I'm going to do it. I have a Polaroid printer where I can print things from my phone and I print things out on my Polaroid. I have some double-sided tape, I have some scissors, and I have some magazine cutouts and things like that, stickers and all that, that just sit in a box in my room. And whenever I feel like going on my phone, I can grab it and I create a page. I could be like, oh, my trip to Hawaii with the kids last, November or whatever. And it feels so good and I love looking at it. And my kids, they can sit there while I do it. They were doing a craft themselves. They were like, Mom, can we make bracelets? Instead of saying no for the 18 millionth time, I said yes. I was like, yeah, you can make a bracelet. I'm working on this and we can work on it together, And it's like, wow, it's so eye-opening. That is one of my big things with this community is that it can feel so lonely. Like, I feel like I'm the only one in the world who's out here ignoring my kids' needs. I put that in quotes because I'm not ignoring their needs. It's very difficult to focus and give them my full attention when I have 87 other things that I'm thinking about. So the big goal of this community was to have people who get it. They're like, girl, I get that. And here is how I am working on changing that. I am working only on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And when I have my kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am going to be fully present. That's kind of my goal. I am not doing a good job of that right now. And I don't get enough time on those Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And so I need to adjust. One of those other things is making sure that I prioritize my sleep and then also creating a routine. So I need to be able to sleep well so that I can wake up on time, so that I can be able to either work out or get started on my day before the kids get up. I have to start doing that. So that's on my list of things that I'd really like to do, even if it's just an hour. Even if I'm getting up at 6 to get some things done, maybe that will help me kind of like, okay, I got at least one thing checked off my list today. I usually try to put only 2 or 3 things on because I know that Tuesdays and Thursdays are not days for me to get things done. Those are maybe days where I can like respond to a quick email while they watch a movie or whatever. But my goal is to be completely and fully present with them on those days. And so I'm working towards that. I'm getting way better. Not great, but I'm getting way better. Another couple things that I'm doing, I'm taking supplements and attempting to make myself food. Supplements can only take you so far, but real food is obviously very, very important. A friend, her name is Emily, and she runs the account Made for Motherhood. She talks a lot about cycle syncing and how our lack of nutrients during our cycle and things like that. And I have found it extremely helpful and eye-opening. I am totally having her on the podcast. But it's one of those things where I'm trying to take these supplements during times where I maybe am lacking in certain nutrients. I haven't gotten here yet, but you can like sync your meals around your cycle, things like that. It is so important. And when I tell you that after starting taking these supplements that I have changed, I have felt more alive than I have in a long time. That is what I mean. So 1, finding other ways to get my dopamine other than a doom scroll. 2, taking supplements and making myself meals. I better include in there hydrating myself and taking my electrolytes. I try to habit stack. Like if I'm going to take my electrolytes, then that's when I'm going to have my vitamins or vice versa. The other thing I'm doing 3 is I'm seeing a therapist monthly. I would honestly go more if I could afford it, but she doesn't take my insurance, but she is 1,000,000% worth every penny. That has been a big game changer for me. She likes to talk business with me too. I mean, she's fantastic. So seeing a therapist, if you're not seeing one, I absolutely urge you to go see somebody. It's very difficult because it's like dating. Like you don't know what you're going to get. And then you might be 3 or 4 sessions in and you're like, I just do not jive with that therapist. It gets really discouraging and hard to find somebody, especially somebody affordable who's really good and who will help you make just huge leaps and bounds. But yeah, look on your insurance and then ask friends like, hey, do you guys have therapists? Do you really like them? Can I get a referral? Things like that. I said this earlier, but number 4, I'm trying to prioritize my sleep. It is something that I have struggled with my whole life. I have been a night owl since I can remember. I have no problem staying up until 4 a.m. and then getting up at 7 a.m. That is just not okay for me anymore. I might have been able to run on fumes in my 20s, but now that I'm a mom, now that I have a lot of things that I'm juggling, monitoring and mitigating those cortisol levels have been so vital for me, and I am working hard on that. I haven't done as much as I'd like to. There are other things I'd like to do to supplement that, but that is another thing. And number 5, meditation and or reading at night. When I go to brush my teeth, I used to like scroll on my phone. Well, now I'm reading The Big Leap on my Kindle while I brush my teeth and floss. Like I'm excited to do those things because I'm excited to read the book. And honestly, I'm only reading like 2 pages a night. So I will finish this book probably by August, but I'm doing it. That is taking me out of the doom scroll where I feel bad about myself, or I should be doing this, or why am I not a better mom? Or why is that person so much more calm than me? Or why is that person so much more successful than me? The things that are so easy to compare ourselves to while scrolling, I don't have to have those feelings before bed. You know what? Instead, I'm going to read The Big Leap and I'm going to learn about my zone of genius and pushing past the fear and all these things. Like I'm working so hard to do that for myself. And then when I lay down at night, I turn on my Insight Timer app. My sister-in-law recommended it to me, and I am listening to Manifesting My Abundance and Deep Sleep. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's working. These things are working. I will do a whole other podcast episode on that. But anyway, instead of scrolling or editing photos until 2 a.m. or answering as many emails as I can, sometimes I still do that, but I'm doing my best to be in bed. My goal is to be in bed by 11. I'm in bed before midnight, so let's just say that. I'm trying to now put my phone down by 10:30, and that is my goal. Hold me to it. If you are texting me past 10:30 and I'm answering, please be like, Bailey, no, not okay, girl, because I am okay with a little bit of accountability. And that brings me back to my point of community. There is no way that I would be feeling as good as I feel if I had not started this Mom Boss community. When I say that things were dark, things were dark. And sometimes I still go to that place. Even a couple weeks ago, I was in a really, really deep, dark, depressed state. The next day we had our Galentine's party. I was on cloud nine. These people gave me the energy and recharged my battery that I needed to get through. And that's one of the things that when my therapist asked me to write down how I can pull myself out of a funk, showering, eating well, drinking my water, and seeing friends slash having a community, that is on my list. It is in my top 5. It is one of the things that I need to do in order to be a decent human being. And the reason that I was feeling so depressed and low, my kids were sick for like 2 weeks leading up to that point. And I hadn't left the house and I hadn't gotten in a workout. I hadn't showered every day. I hadn't eaten well. I hadn't had the chance to recharge my battery. And it left me feeling really insanely low. But because I had community, because I had this event planned and I was looking forward to it, and because I have this group of people that lift me up and bring good vibes, because I have that in my life, I was able to get out of that rut that I was feeling. I felt great. I have felt on cloud nine. I have felt creative again. I have felt motivated again. I have felt like getting back into the groove. And that is what this is about. If you are a mom who runs her own business, or a dad, or whoever's listening to this, if you are feeling dysregulated or out of sorts, try and write down the 5 things that you can do for yourself that help ground you. Is that making tea for yourself and sitting down and reading a book? Is that going outside, taking off your shoes and standing in the grass? Is that going and sitting in your sauna? Or is that grabbing happy hour with a best friend? How is it that you can bring yourself out and get yourself back to equilibrium, like homeostasis, back to baseline in order to exist properly in this world? That is my encouragement to you, straight from my therapist. Like I said, those for me are finding dopamine hits other than doom scrolling, taking my supplements and eating my food, seeing a therapist, prioritizing sleep, and meditating slash reading to kind of like bring myself back to a calm state before bed. I hope that this was helpful. These like solo episodes, a lot of times, it's just me having thoughts and feelings. My last one was pretty emotional, and today I wanted to keep it a little bit lighter. I'm so excited. I can't believe that we have been doing this Mom Boss group for a year. I'm so thankful for every single person who has ever signed up for a meetup. I am looking forward to eventually launching our membership. It will be in person and a virtual option for those who are not in our South Sound area. I am so beyond thrilled to be able to share this stuff with you guys. I'm just really thankful and I just value the community so much. I hope that you guys do as well. I hope that this is a bright spot in your day, a place where you feel like you can recharge and that it gives you energy instead of takes your energy. I hope that these episodes make you feel good or feel something, or you can take something away and feel heard or seen or validated. I am so grateful for you guys, and happy birthday to the Mom Boss Meetup. I cannot wait to see what this next year brings. I hope to see you for our next episode next week. All right, take care.